This here's what they call spalting. Start getting these black marks, brown marks, this red, different stuff in here. Makes it extra nice. This stuff just breaks and crumbles in your hand because over here it is so rotted. But this board is about 14 inches long. Also, like this small piece of wood, it's got a lot of spalting in it. It's very pretty with black, brown, red. And I want to keep about an inch and a half of what's good. I cut it on this, but I put this block and clamp in here to hold it in place. Don't like getting my hands that close. And I use this to help kind of hold it down. This keeps it from flying up out of here. Getting ready to make my second serving tray because I sold the other one. This one's going to be made out of maple. It's got a lot of nice color in it. A little bit of spalting in some places. And then I'm going to make the side. This is going to be the bottom. I'm going to make the sides and handles out of cherry. I've got this board that I glued together. You can see it's definitely warped. No matter which side I flip it on, very bad. So for my first time, I'm going to take I made a planer sled. Do like a lot of them suggested or shows, and put this on my planer sled. Wow. And I'll use double side tape to hold it in place because your rollers press down on it and it just thins it, but it will still leave it uneven. So I got to end up putting pieces under here to keep it from doing that, to get it more even. See, when I put this shim under here, now it doesn't do anything. So when the planer presses down on it, it should hit level and hit the high spots. We'll see what happens. To get this curve, I have this leg where a person gave it to me. It was going to be made for, I guess, a rocker. They didn't have, something happened. They threw a few of them aside, so they gave it to me. So I take this curve on this square piece of wood. I mark the center right here on this piece of wood, where I know what's centered on this curve. Then I make a center line on this square board. And then once I get the two lines lined up, I draw with pencil, and that gives me the curve that I want. And then I just take it on the sander and I sand it down and sand the edges down. And then on this handle here, I decide about where I want it, and I make it 4 inches long and 1 inch wide. Then I'll take it to the small drill press I got, and I will drill it all out with Forstner bit. Well, my wife looked at this and she likes the ideal of the holes in there for like finger grips. I was going to cut them out with a jigsaw, but I can understand what she's saying. When you get your hand in here, there's no slipping or sliding, so I guess I'll just do a sanding on it and get the sharp edges off and leave it like that. Next step is to fill the large holes with dowel rods and glue and the small holes with sawdust and a glue mixture. Making a glue mixture with some red cedar dust that I'm going to be filling the holes with. I had to put screws in on this tray, and you just work it into like a soft clay. This is what this looks like after I fill it in with red cedar, sawdust, and glue. And then I just sand it down and it comes out real nice. Even with the red cedar and the mixture of light colored white light glue from Tybond, it come out more of a dark color, but it still will show all the highlights. This is after it's been sanded. I waited about 3 hours. Thought it might be a little easier to sand. Everything come out pretty decent. This is the second serving tray that I've made. This one here seemed like 3-4 times longer because the boards would warp and twist and different things were happening I had to deal with. This is the second serving tray that I've ever made. Had a lot of trouble with wood twisting, cupping. I ended up taking a 1-inch thick bottom. Time I got done, it ended up a half-inch thick. I had to plane that much off of it. But this is cherry with maple bottom. And then where I filled in all the screws, it is a mixture of cedar and glue. But it turned out pretty good.